Decoy blocks don't work how they used to. Now, if you think sticking decoy blocks anywhere on your ship draws enemy gunfire, you would be wrong. This was a change that happened months and months ago when the weapons got updated, but surprisingly, a large part of the community don't understand this and they still think that sticking decoys on their ship within an armoured cell at any point at all will draw gunfire to them first, but it simply doesn't work like that anymore. Now, to illustrate this a little bit better, we've got the battle turtle here, and notice how the decoy pods are in each of the wingtips. This is the old build, so you can see that it doesn't matter where we place the decoys, the turrets always shoot the decoys first, but now that doesn't happen, so let's do some testing. So let's break down how the decoy works in a super straightforward way. We have 4 components on this board. We have the decoy, we have thrust, we have power, and we have a weapon. On the weapons targeting menu, you have a default option, so it'll shoot at any of these objects, pretty much any component or part of a ship that's not a piece of steel armor it'll target. Or you have the option to target weapons propulsion or power. Now, if we leave this set to default, it'll just jump between the targets. It'll shoot at any of them, and you can see the decoy block is not having any effect. Of course, if we set it to weapon, it'll go straight for the weapon, straight for the power if we set it for power, and the decoy is having no effect on it at all. It's because the decoy no longer works with placement anywhere. It works by being placed closer to the enemy. The only way that the decoy block will distract a turret is if it's closer to the enemy than the other components of your ship. So before we head on, jump down in the comment section and let me know if you knew this information. I know there was a large part of the community who were very confused, and a lot of people watch the older videos where it shows that decoy blocks are targeted over everything else first. So with this information, how can we use it to make better designs that'll stand up to a fight longer? Now this comes down to 2 points. Either strategy or placement, or a nice combination of both. Now the most common strategy I see is rotating decoys. Now rotating decoys can be done in 2 ways, having them on the tips of your ships and simply rotating the whole grid by gyroscopes, or having them on a rotor. Now having them on a rotor creates a subgrid, and this in itself makes a separate target in some situations for the targeting system of the turrets that can cause further confusion and delay the weapons from targeting further. So have a think about that while you're building. So for the next part, I kind of want to take us out of the classroom and onto the battlefield and show you some real fights with the use of decoys. Now with these battles, it can be a bit confusing of exactly what's going on, so I'm going to try to commentate and explain what's happening, but show you just the clips and segments that you need. So first up, you can see that we've got this DRF ship attacking this Innic fleet. Now all these little pods located around this DRF ship are actually decoy pods surrounded by heavy armor, and this is an approach to deal with the new way that decoys work. So you've got to have them extended out from the other components of your ship so they're not targeted first. And you'll notice as this DRF ship does a nice little broadside on the Innic fleet, most of the damage is caught within the decoy pods. So the decoy pods here are working very effective, and it also looks quite cool on the design. It reminds me of like an Expanse sort of vibe, usually where the thruster pads are on some of the Mars ships. So the next ship you can see here is X-Term. X-Term's strategy with decoys is a little bit different. The main bulk of the decoys appear to be in the nose of his vessel between multiple layers of heavy armor, and since the nose of the vessel is the closest to the enemy, that is going to be the area distracting the most enemy fire, and since it's so thick and well protected, it's going to take the enemy quite some time to penetrate through there. In the meantime, X-Term can lay down some fire and keep his turrets alive for as long as possible. Now that brings us nicely onto our next part. We're back in the classroom because I want to buy this decoy block the most amount of time possible. If we can buy it more time, we can keep the components, weapons, other systems alive on our ship for longer. And in most battles in Space Engineers, the weapons on a ship tend to be destroyed before the grid is actually destroyed itself. So buying them time longer to actually strike and take out your opponent's weapons will probably result in you winning the battle. So first off, we're sticking some light armor in front of the decoy block. We're then going to put some heavy armor in front of the decoy block and then a blast door. Now the main difference here is the blast door blocks don't deform, and putting blocks that don't deform in front of a decoy like this is far more effective because it'll last a lot longer. You can also add gyroscopes to the front of these if you're feeling a bit expensive, but still, what we're doing here is buying vital time for this decoy block to work and keep all the systems alive. Now the results of this test were expected. Of course the blast block lasted the longest, but you wouldn't expect it lasted almost 3 times longer than heavy armor. So that is pretty damn impressive. So if you're interested in protecting any blocks, blast armor is definitely the way to go with it. But especially for protecting decoys and buying the decoys as much time as possible, using a mixture of blast door armor and any other blocks that don't deform would be crucial. Now, there was one point when I feared all Space Engineer ships would start looking like this. Let's see how effective this is actually now. So we're going to activate our turret. It is locking on. Oh, it can't do anything. Is there any ammo in it? Yeah, there's 7 mags. So it's struggling that hard to get a lock on this giant propeller ship. Let's back this off a little bit. I mean, this could be the way, I'm guessing, of getting super close. You could even do maybe a rotating boarding pod. Let's bring this back a bit. It's trying its absolute heart out, that turret, to hit this thing. Yeah, it's trying its absolute heart out. Yeah, it feels like I'm got a lightsaber in my hand and I'm like just dodging things around. So let's see how close we can get. Yeah, we can get right up to this thing, can't we? It just doesn't know what to do. Yeah, spinning decoys like this is extremely dangerous. I mean, it looks a bit stupid. Oh no, my decoy! Oh, that was good. Yeah, so the decoy and the rotation of it does make it a little bit hard to spin. Let's turn this guy off. But you can see how effective it is. It's almost unfair. The turrets don't stand a chance against trying to lock onto that. It'd be interesting to actually also have a look through the turret's angle and see what the turret is trying to work out. So let's do that now. So this is the view from inside the turret. Of course, with manual control, we can manually target whatever we want. But there's no interference with the targeting system on here. That's quite interesting. I wonder if we stop this and then we add another spinner on a spinner on a spinner, will the targeting system change at all? So now the insanity of the spinners continues to get even further insane. We've got 2 spinners on the spinners. So let's see what we can do with this. So, oh, he's not happy, that turret. He's trying. He's giving it his best shot, but he just doesn't know what to do. Let's have a little bit of a fly in this if we can get into it without being whacked away by this fly squatter. The thing with having a spinning thing like this is you'd have to time your weapon so you don't hit your own spinner, I'm guessing. That would be an interesting one. You'd probably end up cutting your own spinner off. Look at that turret. It's giving it some. Let's try turn it to the side and see if it can hit it from the side. It should be able to hit it from the side. Oh, it's decided to target us now. So yeah, our gyroscopes, we've got plenty of gyroscopes on, but we're still gyroscopically turning. So what I would like to say is I don't condone building things like this because I feel they're a bit cheesy. I don't know what you guys think in the comment section. I mean, I know there's a lot of you who like to win at any cost, and that's fair enough. But for me, there's kind of a standard where if it's too cheesy, I'd rather suffer a bit of a defeat than be using it. It's like nunchucks. I'm throwing some nunchucks around now, or a lightsaber. Oh, let me know what you think of this. If someone came up to your base and started spinning around like this while they were shooting at you, what would you do about it? What would your counter be? You'd have to get on a manual turret, I'm guessing. Let's wrap the video up here. What have we learned? Well, first off, your decoys need to be closer than any of your other parts to the enemy for them to be targeted over them other parts. Now, secondly, don't confuse your decoys for warheads. I know it's happened a few times and the results can be catastrophic, so just be careful with doing that. The next thing is, remember, decoys don't need any power, so you could send a decoy out surrounded by some heavy armor, super cheap, super effective, and it'll distract enemy turrets. Now, that is all for now. Let me know what you guys like to do with your decoys in the comment section below, and hopefully we can use that comment section as a wealth of data and information to see current tactics with decoys across the community.